Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Happy Sunday. I hope you're all doing well. How are you doing? Keeping warm and well, I hope. So we're going to pull a few messages for the collective this morning. Got a universal love oracle. Okay. Followed by a Sacred Rebels guidance message for the good collective today. So let's take a look into the universal love oracle. Okay, so we've got 3 cards. We have answered prayer. So your prayers have been heard and are being answered. We have golden path and moon tree. Okay, what's the bottom of the deck? We have reflection. So somebody spent a lot of time reflecting upon, yes, the eternal flame within their heart. It's written. The story, the word, the letter, the message. It's already written. Okay. Okay. Okay, indeed. So, answered prayer. The universe is listening and has heard your call for help. Your prayer will soon be answered. Expect a pleasant surprise in the coming weeks. The butterfly angel depicted on this card reflects the positive transformation now taking place. She has heard your heartfelt whispers. She knows your dreams, your fears and concerns. She now answers. Listen and allow. She will fill your heart with love and joy and remind you that you are never alone. Embrace her with your new wings, your newfound wings of light. She loves you unconditionally with a love that spans all time and space. She responds to every heartfelt call. Golden path. Continue your current course of action, even if you are experiencing unforeseen difficulties and obstacles. This card has shown up in your reading today to encourage you to keep going. Faith, perseverance, and conviction will lead to your golden path. Now is not the time to give up. A bright future is in the making, even though you cannot currently see it. Moon tree. An old idea resurfaces. Conditions are now right. The moon is in alignment with your heavenly star. Nurture this idea. With love and positive energy, you will achieve positive results. The mysterious image on this card shows a majestic oak tree rooted in fertile soil. It has grown strong and tall, its branches reaching out to the sky, nourished by the light of a spiritual moon. This card also represents a marriage of some kind, the marriage of heaven and earth, the physical and the spiritual, or a sacred union through which something new is born. Reflection. It is time to reflect on what you have accomplished to date. Remember what you were like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Look back and you'll realize just how far you've come. Acknowledge the experiences that have helped you get where you are. Hopefully you will see that even painful or unpleasant events served a purpose. Everything turns golden with the passing of time, like autumn leaves that fall to the ground, filling the tapestry of our lives with beautiful colours. Sacred Rebels, what's your message today for the collective? Okay, one more shuffle. Thank you. So, let's get a message. Well, straight away we have a card, and they won't let me pull the deck out to shuffle anymore. So that's it. That's our message. Oh, let's pick it up. Okay, so we have card 14, going beyond normal. That's the bottom of the deck. And the top of the deck. It's very interesting. The word wants to be written. I was saying how it's already written. This message, this letter, it's already written. There's the butterflies. And the butterflies have heard your prayers. Okay. Bottom of the deck. Collaborative dreaming. I'm going to pull this card out because I feel as though there may be a message here for us right now. Also, splitting the deck, listening for truth. Someone knows the truth. They've been reflecting upon the truth. So, let's make some space. And we're going to read Going Beyond Normal, Collaborative Dreaming, followed by the word wants to be written. So let's get the right guidebook. Excuse my stomach there, growling. On the path of life, there are deciding moments when we can choose to go with the mainstream, or we can dare to take a bolder, more authentic and trusting way, even if it seems riskier or less safe. To rely solely on logic and science without incorporating the mysterious and magical is a recipe for an existence that is far too dry. The sacred rebel within our hearts will always choose a juicier approach to life. My mouth was watering. You are currently approaching such a choice point. You could say that the choice is about balance. It is less about choosing to honour either art or science, gardening or architecture, and more about integrating all approaches so that you enhance rather than hinder your life journey. Placing science or architecture above all else kills off the rebellious heart. Steadfastly relying on logic, proof, and a complete set of plans to measure and dictate outcomes will suffocate the soul. Basing decisions on limited factors with an unbalanced measure of success is unnecessarily limiting. This approach prevents us from living freely, spontaneously, and with trust, so that we can rebel against the need for things to go strictly according to plan. Choose to value decisions based on passion and instinct, and trust in life enough to embrace it as an adventure and let it unfold as it will. There is a time and a place for logic, strategy, planning, and measurable outcomes. These are not bad tools to have, But we must be vigilant not to worship them or allow them to quash our less rational, but equally valuable decision-making tools. Intuition, intuition, feelings, and those things you know without knowing how you know them. The flowing, inspirational energy of the heart may have no conceivable basis in logic or reason and still be uncannily accurate. To remain rebellious, we must not sacrifice the art of emotion, instinct, passion and intuition for the science of logic and strict planning. On the other hand, gardening and art do provide us with a plan, albeit more loosely held. This plan still requires us to set aside time, to draw upon reliable methods and to prepare with certain tools. However, there is also a healthy dose of organic flow, responsiveness and trust in the creative process of bringing something to life. This leads to the cultivation of the most beautiful, abundant and successful garden and the most vivid, healing art. Excuse me. Let's drink. Excuse me. You are being asked to stay open to the intuitive approach in your life, your work, your creativity, as well as in your spiritual journey. The intuitive approach can be likened to the method of a gardener or an artist. There is a sense of what might work where, and a loose or even a detailed plan, but how the plan is carried out will depend on and respond to the flow of its surroundings. There is no need to control the situation, but rather a desire to nurture an idea to fruition. You may have pressures around you from the world or from your own conditioned nature to do things according to the rules, to a deadline, or to the accepted mainstream view that you need a well thought out plan for success in a commercial venture. However, sometimes the best plan is to do what feels intuitively truthful in the moment and to trust that you are being led towards your own growth. Adopting this approach means you have to do far less planning and far more living. It is a pure and heart-centered way to manifest your art, your life path, and your essence into practical expression in the world. It involves a willingness to be led by nature instead of trying to control the powerful force of life, which is a bit like trying to fit a proverbial ocean in a teacup. It is far more intelligent to allow the ocean to be the ocean and to swim and to learn to swim in it rather than trying to cram it into a vessel that is much too small. This oracle brings you a special piece of guidance. You are moving outside of the plan. You are living on the border of what is socially accepted. This is good. This is fringe dwelling freedom. Others might not see this about you straight away, as you seem pretty normal. But that secret, eccentric streak is just waiting to show itself. And maybe you are an out and proud fringe dweller, completely comfortable with this way of being. Either way, this oracle brings you the message that you now have a chance to live from the heart more deeply and expressively than ever before. It wants you to realize that this is a legitimate, empowered and creative way to live that honors all of who you are. You can give up forcing or squashing yourself down into a very limited set of so-called desirable qualities like intellect and control. If you are yet to relate to this consciously, This oracle brings you the further message that you are going to be breaking with tradition. Perhaps not entirely, but at least in a way that is meaningful to you. This will require you to have courage in your convictions and faith in your heart truths. This will help you and inspire others around you to step out of fear and live more freely and lovingly. You are not necessarily meant to abandon logic and intellect altogether. You are to use them to serve the desires of the heart rather than to place its naturally spontaneous and truthful nature with controlled planning and narrow strategy. It's time to get a bit wild and let nature take its course. Collaborative dreaming. 28. Your heart is big enough to dream, not only for yourself, but for a new humanity. Imagine a world that is healed with respect, understanding, and with community that fosters life. Even your dreams that relate to you alone will contribute positively to the greater good, because that is the nature of your heart. Your heart naturally and intelligently cooperates in a grand scheme of loving creativity, working to heal the hearts of the world. The heart creates win-win situations that benefit the individual and the collective. You are being asked to honour your growing desire to co-create with conscious, like-minded people. Your collaborative dreaming is a heart-inspired win-win, bringing mutual enhancement to yourself and others. The heart wants to love and be loved. Working with others creatively is a way to allow the heart to grow. It is a chance for you to learn how to honour yourself and others and to find ways to live and let live, simply by growing and strengthening your active trust in your heart's guidance. You are asked to bear the rough patches that can happen when you work creatively with others. Ideas might clash and there can be friction, particularly if you have different ways of working. Sometimes big dreams need more fire to ignite them into reality. More fire requires more friction along the creative path. It is not meant to be a permanent condition, just an aspect of the creative process from which you can learn something useful if you wish. Your guidance is to embrace any experiences of friction or tension within yourself or as you work with another, with compassion, detachment, and tolerance. Creative endeavours, particularly involving groups, can bring up unresolved issues about being valued, heard, or capable. They can also trigger disputes about taking responsibility or inflame insecurities about being cast into unfamiliar roles of leadership or of having to follow. This might happen for you, for others, or for all involved. The stronger the creative energy that flows, the more likely that triggering will take place. It is just the nature of creative energy to move in all directions. It doesn't just want to grow one project. Everything that comes into contact with it will grow. That means that the art and the artists are in the process of creation. This can be smooth, but it is more likely to be rough sailing, at least at times. This is not a sign that something isn't working. Far from it. It is more usually a sign that growth is happening and you are feeling the growing pains. This oracle is guiding you to stay in your integrity, Honour what you feel and remember why you chose to open up to group endeavours in the first place, especially if this group involvement becomes complex or challenging. Call on unconditional love each day and evening. It only takes a moment to do. I call on unconditional love. Please help and guide me and this project. You are going through this experience, or will be in the near future, because you are part of a new creative learning program for humanity. This learning program is taking place at a spiritual level, and it requires highly individualistic and creative people to learn to work with each other without compromising who they are, in order to reach a common creative goal. It is wonderful, important, and challenging. It is wonderful, important, and challenging creative and spiritual work. You need a strong sense of self to be able to engage in the process and not lose your voice during the journey. You need a strong enough sense of self to be flexible and know when to bend rather than break. You have to intuit what is going to be a good heart-inspired sacrifice for the greater good, and when you will need to stay true to your own voice for the greater good. Only the heart can guide you on these matters, and others may not always agree with your instincts, and vice versa. That is part of the challenge of staying present, so that the friction created can be channeled into creative energy, rather than lost in emotional turmoil. Please remember that what really matters is that you hear your own voice. Others may or may not be able to receive it. When you hear your own voice, you will be able to connect with your heart truths. You will know when it is right to remain in a group or when you need to withdraw in order to work with others who resonate at a more appropriate vibration and perhaps in more harmony with your own. Not every collaboration will be long-term. Sometimes the learning will be short, sharp, and possibly even painful, before it turns into the wisdom that is gained from experience. At other times, the journey will be more loving, supportive, and harmonious. This is neither better nor worse, just different. This oracle comes with particular guidance for you at this phase of your life, path, and creative journey. You are no longer to think of yourself as the lone wolf. Yes, you have your unique path to tread, but you now have tasks to accomplish for your own growth and the greater good that requires more than a one-man band. You will still do your own work, of course. However, others are on the way to help you. There is only so much a single drop of water can do on its own, though it is precious. Together, those drops can become a wave and make a considerable impact in the world. You are part of a wave of loving consciousness, and you are meant to be exploring collaborative dreams, healing relationships, and conscious communities. Some connections will be short-lived and perhaps involve some learning experiences that you are hopeful of never needing to repeat. Others will be longer-term loves. Either way, you will emerge more of yourself and more in connection with the world that wants your ideas, presence, energy, and light. This oracle brings a message to those of you that are involved in a group and are struggling over whether to continue or to let it go and move on. You are asked to trust your heart and not to allow any group to become more powerful than the wisdom of your own heart. Always allow the sacred rebel within you to question authority. Is it loving and wise authority? Or is it coming from a place of fear-based control? Look to your heart's wisdom to discern whether your involvement in a group is healthy or not. Sometimes a group can only receive so much of our energy before it is time to move on. Sometimes a group is not receiving us at all because we feel that we are meant to be a guiding hand in it for a period of time before our heart urges us to let go. Ask for guidance. Do the healing process below and trust in the feelings that become clear to you over time. You will know what to do, and you must always trust your own voice above any other. So, the word wants to be written. Let's read this message and then we'll finish with the healing process. So, the word wants to be written. You might have been taught that creativity is something you have to work hard to access, or that finding your life purpose is so difficult that you must search high and low for it. Yet what you are is within you and wants to come out at every available opportunity. You don't have to struggle so much. It is more about allowing space for it to manifest and to let the energy flow. The real struggle is not in finding something. It is more about letting go of the idea that you need to search for your path in the first place. You see, the process of activating your life path is a natural one. The effort is in getting out of the way, not in making something happen. As for being yourself, that is the foundation from which your true life path will reveal itself. Being yourself becomes easier when you give yourself permission to love, honour and accept yourself in all circumstances, especially the ones where you might be more tempted to reject and judge. Give the sacred rebel within the opportunity to decide your values, irrespective of whether they meet with general social acceptance. This oracle brings you the message that what you are dreaming of or seeking to do, create, live or manifest is actually very natural for you. This is why you want to do it. If you experienced controlling and manipulative forces as you were growing up, you would have found it hard to access your natural state at the time. You would have been too busy trying to adapt and get through the trials of childhood. When you finished navigating childhood and started to let go of who you were taught to be in order to become who you really are, you may have found your life path was not easily accessible. That is simply because your true and natural self was covered by layers of shame from the early conditioning that you had to be other than you are in order to win love or be acceptable. However, the natural self hasn't gone anywhere. It is still there within you. Now, it is just about chipping away at the walls of shame, perhaps with a defiant, "Who the hell cares? I am here and I am going to love myself anyway." This allows you to risk bearing the feelings of any shame that arises as you release old emotional wounds and break away from any restraints to unconditional self-love. The sacred rebel within can empower you to love yourself no matter what, simply because you want to. You might decide to declare, "I am still lovable," so put that in your pipe and smoke it. This will send an energetic message to whomever shamed you in the first place, whether they meant to or not. Your message could be going to a parent, school teacher, sibling, friend, lover, or anyone else that was struggling enough with their own shame wound that they couldn't help but dump it on you. You can be freed to realise that the shame is just an emotion, not a truth, and you can defy any hold it has ever had on you and your ability to love yourself. This oracle brings you the guidance that you are now powerful enough to break the cycle. It is time to stop the shame and claim yourself in love instead. What you want to write, sing, dance, or become is you. It is natural. Drop your defences, get into the grit, and confront the power that any old shaming has ever had over you. It's finished now. It is time for you to be naked with yourself. Acknowledge how gorgeous you are and get on with your work. Life is urging you to do so because the work wants to happen. What you want to create wants to be created. The word wants to be written. You just need to let go of any remnants of the past that have been in your way. Step firmly over them and on to your path right now. So let's finish today's message with this healing process. And if you would like to take part, then here we go. Imagine a chain of paper dolls, all connected, forming a circle. Imagine that the circular chain of paper dolls can be filled with a beautiful golden light, which begins in the heart of each paper doll. The light shines out and shimmers, making the paper dolls radiant, shining, and golden. Imagine a feeling of love, connection, help, and goodwill shining along with the golden light. Stay with that image or feeling as long as feels good for you. Then simply open your eyes and you have completed your healing process. Indeed, we have now finished today's reading. So thank you for being here today. I really hope you found this message helpful. So that was our Sunday Soul service. So thank you again, everybody. As always, I appreciate you being here. And yeah, please enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I shall be back very soon. So much love. Bye for now.